Okay, so it's been a few hours, it's almost midday, and I actually haven't written that much. I only did like a little bit of tweaking at a chapter that was almost finished. After I had my coffee, then I had breakfast, and then I just got dressed and ready to go. I actually didn't introduce myself properly, I don't think. I did say that my name is Marina. It's actually Marina because I'm from Spain, but you can pronounce that however you want, however you feel at any given time. I think one of the most important things for me to say in a video like this, which is a writing vlog, is that I am an aspiring writer, or like a friend of mine always tells me, I'm a writer. She's always giving me these pep talks and telling me that you don't need to be a published writer to consider yourself a writer. You're a person who writes, therefore you are a writer. And I actually really like that mentality, but we all have this imposter syndrome little voice telling us that we are not really writers until we've been published. But we're gonna go with my friend's approach here because it's more positive, and I think it's just better for the actual sitting down and writing and achieving the things that we want to achieve. So a little bit of history about me and my relationship with books would be that I've loved them for as long as I can remember. I learned to read and write when I was very, very little, and I think that was one of my favorite hobbies when I was a kid. As a reader, I really, my favorite genre is fantasy. It has always been. I grew up with Harry Potter. When I was 11, I picked up the first book, and I was 11, Harry was 11, so that was a connection that was very solid from the beginning. In terms of writing more recently, in 2017 I went to Sweden on exchange, and when I came back I missed it so much, and I was very inspired by the landscapes, by the people, by the food. I love Swedish food, it's great, especially the pastries and the cakes. Shortly after, I had to present my master thesis, and because I was studying film at that point, one of the options that we had for our thesis was to write a screenplay. And I used this idea that I had of my story based in Sweden, and I applied it to the thesis. So I ended up with a screenplay that was roughly 50 pages, and I got really good feedback from my tutor, and the other person that was evaluating it said that she thought it could really work as a novel, and she suggested to novelize it. She suggested turn it into a novel. So I did that. It took me many, many years because I had written short stories all of my life, but I had never finished a long project. So that was painful. That was a process, and I learned a lot, and I keep thinking that that's probably, hopefully, the worst book that I will have ever written. I did put a lot of effort into it, and I started querying it earlier this year. I've submitted it to publishers and to agents, and so far, no luck. That's okay. It's a process, it takes a long time, and also it might be that I never get an answer from anyone. That's okay. That's what writing is all about. We write a book, it works, it doesn't work, then we write the next one. And so right now I am working on a couple of different projects and trying to have my mind too set on the querying process and on the waiting that comes with it. But I think I'll tell you about it more later because I'm a little scared that my camera has stopped recording. So I'm just gonna stop and I'm gonna check in with you later.
We just came back from the swimming pool, and this is the situation we're dealing with.
Okay. Okay, here we are. I have my tea in my Artemis mug, and it's something called breathe. It's called respira. In Spanish that means breathe, and I think it's a really good it's a really good one to have right now, because I was just watching the footage from the other time that I sat down here and I started talking to the camera, and I looked so stiff, and I think I was trying to talk in a specific way. That is not necessarily the way I usually talk. I think I was very hyper aware of everything that I was saying, and that's normal to some extent because it was my first time talking to the camera. But I think that was way too stiff for a human being, so here I am trying to be more myself, more natural, with this tea that is reminding me to breathe. I also hope the sound is okay, because I don't currently have a microphone, so I'm recording everything on the camera, so fingers crossed. This tea is actually boiling. I'm just gonna put it down for a second. So first of all, if you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking with me. Sticking with me? Is that how you say it? That's another thing. I apologize if I said anything wrong, or I said anything like outrageous without knowing that I was saying something outrageous, because English is not my first language. I do speak it every day. Speak it. See, that was a weird accent right there. I do speak it. And so she forgot how to speak. I speak English every day, but it's not my first language, so I'm trying my best. I did one. So thank you for your patience, and for if I said something weird, just please don't think badly of me. I just probably went all Spanish in my brain. Okay, so the first point in my list is that I actually had a lovely weekend, and even though I wanted to write a lot, I didn't end up writing that much. I just wanted to say that I was one of these people that got really into the whole productivity movement a few years ago, where I was watching all these videos and all of these people online that had these very organized lives, and they accomplished a lot of things at the end of the day. And so I just jumped into that wagon, I don't know if that's how you say it, and tried to be that person. And even though I learned a few valuable things from that, like for example that routines, even though I don't think they need to be that strict, routines can be good for you if you're a person that thrives in routine. But I do find that when I try to do too much, I only end up making myself miserable. It's good to have the skills, because there's times in life where you can't help it. You just have a lot to do and you have to do it. I don't want to be in this constant cycle of having periods of really great productivity and then periods where I'm just so burnt out that I can't do anything. So that's like a big ramble just to say that I had a great weekend, but I didn't end up writing that much. I did end up writing in tiny bits. I do need to have like a second to breathe and think first thing in the morning, but after that second I'm pretty able to just write for like 20 minutes. They probably won't be the best words that I will write in my life, but I don't know, it's a start. You gotta start somewhere, and I find that sometimes the hardest part is actually sitting down and studying. It removes the pressure, because I'm just thinking about starting the writing and I'm not thinking about it being good, and I forgive myself, if you want to call it like that, for not writing the best words that I can write. It's been working out for me. This is a new thing that I've been trying, but it's been working pretty okay. The second thing I wanted to talk about is my current projects, because I assume you don't know me, and even if you do, I don't talk about my projects very openly until they are around draft 2. The way I think my process works best is by not sharing much with anyone until I have the idea on paper, at least for draft 1 or even draft 2. The reason for this is that I think I fall towards the discovery part of the writing spectrum. In case you don't know what I'm talking about with discovery, this just means that there's some writers that prefer to have a plan beforehand. They are the ones that they plot, they write they write an outline, and there's other writers that just sit and just see where the words take them and where the characters and where the plot takes them. I think most people realistically fall somewhere in between, just more towards one side or the other. I think I'm quite far down the discovery side because I feel like this is not uncommon. There's a lot of people like me, but I think I get really bored if I have already thought of the story. I want the story to be told to me first, and that sounds really silly. Sometimes when you say things like, I want to see where the story takes me, it sounds like you're being a bit like, I don't know. But really, there are tons of times that I sit down and I start writing and I have no idea what the character is going to say. And then the first thing that comes to my mind, I write, and then I realize that that's going to have this consequence and this consequence. And I couldn't have anticipated that. I'm not very good at anticipating consequences. I think I'm better at picking things up after something has happened, if that makes any sense in English. Collecting the fruit. Wait, fruit is up here. Collecting the fruits of the things that you have planted before. So the two projects that I'm working on right now are a middle grade project. It's like a mystery detective-y kind of situation. And the other thing that I'm working on, it's a sort of Viking-inspired standalone novel that it has little bits of fantasy. It's not like a fantasy heavy project, even though I really like those. But I just finished working on, like, the novel that I'm querying is a lot more heavy on the magic aspect, a lot heavier. And so with this one, the tricky part is that I basically structured it in a bit of a more creative way than I usually do. I'm usually very straightforward, chronological order, just like one thing after the other. But this time it just appeared like that in my head. I don't know, I didn't choose it. It was the characters, it was the plot. There we go again. I wanted to talk more about other aspects of writing, my writing routine, my strategies to sit down and write when you have other jobs, when writing is not your full-time job. I actually have a bit of a particular work situation where I work more than one job, so I need that bit of extra internal structure because the external structure doesn't exist per se. So let me know if you're interested in any of those things, writing routine, writing strategies for busy people, I suppose. We're all busy at the end of the day. I hope you liked this video. Thank you for getting all the way to the end. Let us not forget. Let me know if you have projects, if you are a writer, if you just like watching people's writing routines or writing blogs. I would love to know more about everyone. I would love to hear from you, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.